Morning. My name is Rui Alves. I've been the head of IT for Porto Bay, which is a Portuguese hotel chain headquartered in Madeira, for the past 10 years. And past month we have started a new initiative called Digital Forum, which we are bringing all the departments inside the company to be part of this discussion of digital. I've been working in several different industries, from retail, aviation, financial services, education, and the blockchain has entered my life in a WhatsApp group through crypto. And please don't forget to remember me at the end. I need a photograph because my mother doesn't believe I came to work.
Thanks. Diogo, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, I'm Diogo. My background is more on the economics and finance parts. I've joined Yakuba and this project in 2021 with Mauricio, and I'm nowadays actually living in the UK, and part of the management of our ticketing, travel and accommodation project company that is Yakuba.com. In a nutshell.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Nuno. I am the guest relations and event manager from Estalagem de Ponta do Sol, which is a boutique hotel in Ponta do Sol, 25 minutes from Funchal. And it's interesting. I think perhaps me as a hotel worker, perhaps Estalagem was the first hotel in Madeira that had a huge contact with blockchain, with cryptocurrency. This is because somewhere in the pandemic in 2020, we had this partnership with the digital nomad community and the digital remote workers and all this world, and mostly, and many of the people connected with the digital work are working in the cryptocurrency and blockchain, and all the world connected to it. And we created one of the most famous, if not the most famous event for remote digital workers, which is the Proper Fridays. And we call it the Sunset events and the social events. And since day one, somewhere almost in the end of the pandemic, we're talking about 2020, 21, it was an electronic sunset, but I think 40% of the people that are going there are working in the blockchain and cryptocurrency, and it was quite interesting. We had the DJ doing the sunset electronic, and afterwards we had a kind of, a meeting in the garden for 2 hours, and mostly of the subject was around the blockchain and cryptocurrency, how to work in the field, how to invest, and so on, and has been with us since then because we're still doing the project till now, every Friday, having more than 60-70% international people working the field and working with cryptocurrency and blockchain, so it's quite interesting. I mean, we don't implement still yet we're going to talk about that, the blockchain in our payments, in our reservations, but for many years we've been having that, and not only, we used to organize also some kind of master classes and workshops with digital workers, remote workers that were in Madeira about also around blockchain and cryptocurrency in Ponta do Sol after or before the after parties that we've been doing the Proper Fridays and other events.
Okay. So let's try to understand the importance of the blockchain in the tourism sector. Okay. We are here talking about technology can bring some advantage, but how can we do in all the days using the blockchain in your operation? Okay, let me ask you if you have any example, practical example of the blockchain in your hotel.
Nowadays, we are not using blockchain directly, but if I may go one step backwards and back to my mind, my mother, which is 81. If I need to congregate the one single word to define blockchain, I would say it's trustworthiness. Okay, and we are living in a digital space. Yesterday, someone talked about the Constitution, and the Constitution here to bring us our rights, our freedoms, and our safeguards. And inside our digital space we are living now, we also need something to do that. For instance, the GDPR is an effort towards that direction. And either it's in human relationships, but also in business, there's no, we need trust to thrive. So, and there's a lot of use cases of trustiness inside the hospitality. So first thing, we deeply rely on reputation in hospitality. Nowadays, someone that has not booked a night with us can go to TripAdvisor or to Google and post really advantage or a really negative comment, and it will impact directly our business. And the way we this reputation nowadays is based on indexes. There's GRI, there's NPS, which is the Net Promoter Score, and in which we deeply rely. So it's the ability for someone to pass on the word, word of mouth, saying that they will recommend us. And from loyalty programs to identification to supply chain and tracking, there's a lot of applications that could benefit from using blockchain.
So you think that it could be helpful for you, for example, on the trustworthiness on the actual reviewers, so the transparency of the reviews being well, valid in the sense that they're not being there on purpose to hurt you, so you can track them back to who did? Is that when you're talking about the reviews?
Yeah, sure. Because if we can guarantee that those reviews are valid, are true.
Fraudulent.
And I'm not fraudulent. Yeah, exactly.
More transparency.
Okay, let's talk with Diogo as a developer, as a, trying to bring some solutions to this sector. What are the main benefits, and what are the challenge you?
I think there are parts that seem a bit more obvious than others. For example, the one that may seem more obvious may not exactly be the most advantageous is to, like Martinho spoke before, for small value payments, actually paying in crypto doesn't bring that much gains in terms of the costs of the transactions. But it is an interesting facility for those who want to pay in crypto. But that I wouldn't see it as the main advantage. For example, in my mind, it comes to me as it could potentially be explored as an advantage if you had hotel ID, digital ID, like coming back to the digital ID topics that we came yesterday, because you see a lot every day more in aggregators like Booking and so on, like actually fraudulent registries or offerings that you may end up booking and paying, and in the end you actually don't have the reservation where you thought you had. So maybe here this could be a way of protection against fraud for the hotel groups or individual hotels, for example.
Yeah.
Could be one of the use cases.
Let me ask you one thing, because you are talking about here, like example, Booking. If you use blockchain, if Nuno and Rui use the blockchain, and they have their own platform, reservation platform, how can we try to not being in war with the booking companies? And I don't know if this is an easy answer, but it's a challenge, I think.
So you're talking about how blockchain can somehow replace the bookings and .com. It's not a question of replacing. I always think that, you know, tourism is one of the biggest revenue sectors worldwide these past years, and Portugal and Madeira especially. I mean, Portugal in general, you know, is one of the sectors that it brings so much revenue for any company in so many ways, direct ways, the hotels, the suppliers, and everyone involved, the rental cars. I mean, it's such a big world, and it's bringing so much richness to countries like Portugal. And of course, in the end of the day, I think if you look at the blockchain and the cryptocurrency and so on, I think it's about eliminating the taxes. I think there's a lot of intermediaries. When you go to a final booking, you go from the banks. When you're using a visa, you go to the booking.com that is taking their commission. You go to so many commissions going till the end of the booking. And I think it's not replacing, it's adding value. I think the blockchain in general is not like replacing the very successful service that already served the tourism sector. It's about adding value and adding loyalty. And I think if you think as, you know, creating a loyalty program, I think the blockchain can make a huge difference. Creating the loyalty programs. Because, you know, in the end of the day, the blockchain and the currency is still a small group, is still a kind of elite. Not elite like financially, but is a kind of elite, like a kind of community. Yeah. So if you use that in your favor, like I am part of the club, you know, and I think the hotels managers, they would be smart enough to know that it is already a huge community. The community that is going to all this very high-tech thing, that everything is much simple, everything, there is no intermediators. I think that's how blockchain can indeed not replace, but be an add value to channels like Booking.com, Expedia, and so many ways, really.
Okay.
If I can just add on top of Nuno's regarding the loyalty programs, we are experiencing this in other industries. We are looking for flexibility and having the sense that we have the control. So one thing is the interoperability between parties, between partners. Someone that, you know, you go to the supermarket and then you can change your points in the gas station. Why can't we bring this into our industry? There's a lot of players in the ecosystem, from transfers to experiences to whatever you can imagine across the travel industry, that for sure we could benefit from having this interoperability. Yeah. From the guest perspective, there's also the point of protecting their earned rewards. So being able to be assured that it's there, it's immutable, so no one can spend your earnings. Mm-hmm. And from the business point of view, there's also it can be also seen as a mean to prevent, for instance, double spending of those rewards and providing a negative impact into the company.
Okay, so the first step, I think the hotel groups, maybe like here you are talking now, and sometimes it's very easy to explain ideas and try to bring us and talk with each other and bring some solutions. Diogo, you made some solutions. So let me tell you, for me it's not important understand how technological the blockchain works. Okay, for me it's important to know it works. It's faster, it's secure, and let me try to understand in the meaning of benefits and the meaning of the how blockchain can improve my customer experience. There are a lot of challenges that you may put blockchain in work on that or not.
Well, the customer experiences of the blockchain can be part of it. You need to idealize how you want to interact with your
It helps
your client.
Hotels and I think
I think it can help, for example, on the bit on what I was touching before, but on the transparency and the trustworthiness between the stakeholders, the person that actually goes on holiday and needs a flight or stays in a hotel, actually on as well back on IDs, not having to constantly stand here and there and be on the control of who I'm sharing with temporarily. Not so in that way, I think it can make it more private at the same time, more preventing against fraudulent activities. So I think you can design solutions to help the companies achieve also a more confident standing on their side, on the clients they're having, not only for the client, also for the business.
Okay, so let's try to the example of the Madeira. Okay, here we are here, and back there I'm asking to Rui if you have a practical example of the implementation of blockchain here in our days. He told me, no, we are looking. We have some challenge because we are cultural and problems, and blockchain is not. It's not still not a reason to talk. How can I say? Rui, let me ask you: have you any example, practical example of application of blockchain? And for example, if you after this conference, if you will have some ideas to share or to put on Diogo solutions, I don't know. Tell me how important is talking about blockchain.
Okay. Prior to diving into the examples themselves, there's the part of education, and you are talking about the adoption. So it's something that is not particular to tourism, but it's a problem of the technology itself and the adoption. We have, with smart contracts, we have the promise of auto-execution, and it would simplify the overall ecosystem, from tour operators to online travel agencies, the insurances that can be related to that stay. All of that can be auto-executed through blockchain, and the technology allows that. The thing is that also another promise we have here is to, for instance, to cut the middleman. And that's exactly where the online travel agencies make the money, and the tour operators also take part of their stake. So we need to, someone from the previous presentations mentioned that we need to find the right angle to put this on. And we need to look at the ecosystem, the entire ecosystem, and see how all the players involved can benefit from that, rather than trying to fight the incumbents, the major players, because they have a big stake on this. Being said that, examples. TUI, one of the major tour operators, has since 2017 a project in blockchain called BedSwap, it's a private blockchain which they use to track their room inventory. They have a large number of units, so they use it to make sure that they have a good tracking of their room inventory and availability. Previously, they relied on third parties to do this, multiple systems. Obviously, this implementation lead to increase in efficiency and cost savings, exactly by removing the middleman. But if we look at the overall industry, from our perspective, they are also middlemen. There are also some failed initiatives. For instance, Wedding Tree was also founded. No, they were founded in 2018 through an ICO, initial coin offering, and they ceased operations in July 24. They were a decentralized marketplace. They have a partnership with the Citizen M, which is a very well-known hotel chain. But the lack of understanding and trust in blockchain lead to a failure. If you go to their homepage, you see there a statement from their CEO saying, it's too early. We don't have the environment.
They have paused. They did not close down the project.
And there are some existing examples, Travala.com and Locktrip from the home rental and let's say the Airbnb side. It's an interesting twist. They implemented a home rental marketplace through the usage of NFTs. So it's non-fungible. And the thing here is that, okay, if I'm booking a stay that night at that specific hotel, it's not fungible, okay? So if I book for 7 nights with them, I have a collection of 7 NFTs which will, it's a kind of travel voucher 2.0. And what that NFT gives you, it's the right to use that stay. Sorry for being that long.
So let me ask you again, and to Nuno, I think we're talking about some gamification in this. It's very important, I think, trying to bring the experience of gamification to nowadays, to your projects. Can you tell us this for you is important, or if you ever think about the gamification in your particular business?
Well, it's like this. There is like huge opportunities, but indeed to implement, there are still so many challenges that we have to follow, and there are so many that you all are aware, because I'm sure it's been talked already by other people and other talkers, that it doesn't apply only for the hotel sector. And one of the biggest challenge for a hotel to really implement the blockchain is, for example, the oscillation of the currency. You're paying this amount in 2 weeks. The crypto coin can be in a different value. That is a big issue. To implement new softwares for the blockchain in the hotel business can be expensive on the first run. And then, of course, on the middle term, it will be, you can get the profits, but still you have to implement, to do education for the people that are working in the sector. You have all these new people working in old school, and to implement for the new currency and the new software is still a big challenge. And perhaps one of the biggest challenge, in my opinion, is also the legal regulation. If you look at it, if you look at the governments and the courts and even the regulation by the government, is still not very clear about this new world that is the blockchain. And it's normal that the entrepreneurs and the hotel owners, they have, a bit of afraid when they don't feel that they don't have legal support, So this is some challenge that we as hoteliers, we have to face for the next years, knowing that is an amazing new world. It's not future, is now. We can use it now, but we have to overcome this. And there are many ways that we can easily make the process go faster, because even, don't forget, the hotel industry in Portugal, I think in many countries, but I have to say, this is where I live. In the hotel industry in Portugal is very conservative, if you know what I mean. People, the hotel business people in Portugal, they don't take many risks, in my opinion. They make, they're worried about providing good service, having a good revenue, pay the bills, having profit, but they don't risk that much. So it's not that easy to implement this kind of new worlds to the big stakeholders of the big companies in Portugal. So I would say, with all these challenges that I've talked, there is so much that we can do to make the process go faster. I mean, the government could give so much more support about these and financial support, do pilot programs with the hotels where the government would give some money in a way that the pilot programs wouldn't cost so much to the companies, and and after 1 year or two it would be like a kind of experience, workshops and programming for the people that are working in the hotels. There are so many things we can do to make the process go faster. Like in all sectors, if we don't put everyone together, we all need each other, and sometimes we forget this, that we, the hotel workers, the hotel managers, also need the government, need the lawyers, need the tech people, need the whatever. And again, like in everything in life, if we don't come together, in a legal way, in education way, in a civil way, will be much harder to make it in the middle term something that can bring benefit for everybody. And I mean, and you guys know, you've been here. This is really a huge opportunity, not only in the hotel sector, in all the sectors, but we're here to talk about the hotel sector. But we need these small incentives from the government, the civil community, and so on.
So Diogo, like a tech provider, how you can convince them?
Good question. Maybe for most it will be, they will have different pain points depending on what they have implemented at the time. Maybe it will be starting in some of those points where blockchain can help. We might not be able to help for a specific.
This conference is an example. You try to convince them. We are trying to convince them doing this conference and the importance of the blockchain. It's a small example, but it's a first step.
So come on, Dio, convince me that next year I should work on with blockchain in my hotel.
For your events, you could use yakuba.com.
For sure.
No, for example, a starting point and easier for your implementation, definitely payments. We are clients of Xmoney as well. Then you can start the loyalty schemes that you got, because there are more familiar parts.
The loyalty programs, for sure. Yeah.
So if you start slowly with things that are more familiar, and then move on to others that will become more familiar, maybe that will be the way to eventually, in some years' time, have it more widely implemented in the business, instead of thinking of changing everything at once from one day to the next.
Okay, so we don't have so much time. I don't know if you want to say something more about it, and if you want to.
Yeah, I can add one extra one regarding the supply chain and the provenance of tracking. Blockchain is a well-known solution for logistics, and this is just one specific, very narrow application. But tracking the carbon offset could be done through this, because if you track the logistics, you can know exactly your footprint. And another aspect that more and more, a growing number of people are moving towards this as one part of the sustainability is also ethical sourcing. So to guarantee that the products you are using in your hotel come from ethical sources or not, depending on your position.
The way for certification of supply chain, basically.
Yeah. And a small challenge for yet regarding the gamification. Digital twins and the gaming itself could be a teaser for hoteliers to open new revenue streams, having virtual assets. For instance, I don't know if you know the Centerland, which is a coin named Mana. The market cap for this month was around $625 million. And there you have properties, and then you have virtual assets. Who knows? Maybe some hotelier want to go into this new kind of revenue stream.
Diogo, you want to say something more? like we are.
One way to use it, and that could eventually bring benefits. And you could imagine time sharing being using blockchain, for example. That could be one of the use cases to be implemented. Quite known for Madeira hoteliers, or at least some.
Okay, Nuno.
No, I know
So
we're running out of time.
Yeah,
Mine is already in the clock that we have in front of us. No, just to say very quick is that I was talking about the challenge to implement it, but there is no doubt that this is where to go when you want to make the costs down about the whole environment of the tourism sector, from suppliers to travel agencies to hotels to rental cars to all the ecosystem. As soon as we overcome the challenges that I've said, and there are many others because we don't have much time to talk here, for sure, the costs will come down in such a way because we just finished the intermediary. The contracts are much easier and clean. The trust, the fraud. There are so many things. I mean, I'm sure it's been discussed with other talkers in other areas. It's pretty much the same for the hotel sector. So definitely, I'm sure in the next years to come, this is the place to go to make the hotel business much more profit and much more easy in the end of the day. Yeah.
Okay,